myself am a huge fan of Harry Potter, so this video was really fun for me in terms of researching the facts, and I actually found a lot of facts that I did not know before. So hopefully you find this entertaining, informative, but most importantly relaxing as well. And without further ado, let's get into 100 facts about Harry Potter. Fact number 1. Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling have the same birthday, which is July 31st. Dumbledore has a deeper meaning. It's actually an Old English word for bumblebee. Rowling has said that she chose that name because she always thought of Dumbledore humming to himself. Rowling eventually revealed the fate of Dolores Umbridge. Although we didn't read about it in the books, she was eventually imprisoned in Azkaban for her actions at the Ministry of Magic. There you go. The names of some of the main characters were changed from Rowling's original names. Before she changed them, they were Hermione Buckle, Draco Spinks, Neville Puff, and Lily Moon, who ended up being Luna Lovegood. When you say Harry, Ron, and Hermione doing schoolwork in the movies, Daniel Radcliffe, I think it's meant to say C. Whenever you see Harry, Ron, and Hermione doing schoolwork in the movies, Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson were actually doing their homework. That's pretty cool. Harry, Ron, and Hermione's names all had deeper meanings too. Harry is the Middle English version of Henry, which was a name popular for English kings. Ronald comes from the Old Norse Roggenvalder, a title for a ruler's advisor, because he's Harry's best friend. And Hermione's name is from Shakespeare, The Winter's Tale, and was just meant to be clever since her parents are scholarly, apparently. Robbie Coltrane, who plays Hagrid in the films, was the first actor to be cast in the series. Rowling's credits the Harry Potter books to her mother's death, saying the books have a major death theme in them because she started writing them 6 months after her mum died. She has said that if she didn't die, there would be no Harry Potter. Rowling also once said that when she wasn't in a happy place, she almost killed off Ron out of sheer spite. Poor Ron. Fact number 10. If you look closely, you'll notice that the scar on Harry's head on the book cover and in the film are different. On the books, the scar is in the middle of his forehead. In the films, it's actually off-centre. Although Hogwarts is in England and Harry lived in London, much of the series is inspired by Edinburgh, Scotland, which is where Rowling lives. That's at the time of this article. She may have moved around since then. The Dementors were based off Rowling's experience with depression. She once described it as that cold absence of feeling, that really hollowed out feeling. That's what Dementors are. Rowling created Quidditch after having a big fight with a now ex-boyfriend. She said she doesn't remember the connection between the fight and the game, except that maybe, in my deepest, darkest soul, I would quite like to see him hit by a bludger. The Harry Potter movies could have been a lot different. Before an argument with Rowling, Steven Spielberg was supposed to direct the first movie, and he wanted Haley Joel Osment to play Harry. Ali Joel Osment, I don't know who that is. Rowling was inspired by a real-life bookstore in Porto, in Portugal, called Livraria Lello, which she lived near for a few years. Many say the bookstore reminds them of Flourish and Blotts. Beeves, the poltergeist in the books, was supposed to appear in the films, played by British comedian and actor Rick Mayall, but director Chris was a very wise decision. In Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Arthur Weasley was originally supposed to die, but his death was replaced with the death of Sirius. I'm still not over that. In Prisoner of Azkaban, Professor Trelawney refused to sit at a table with 12 other characters because she would be the 13th, and the first one to get up after that would die. In Order of the Phoenix, 13 members of the Order are sitting, and Sirius was the first one to stand up. Wow, that's pretty cool. Fact number 20. The names of the plants in the Wizarding World are based on real names. Rowling said they're from a book called Culpeper's Complete Herbal, which was written in the 17th century by English botanist and herbalist Nicholas Culpeper. The American name for the first Harry Potter book was almost different. It was going to be Harry Potter and the School of Magic instead of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, but Rowling asked for Sorcerer's Stone instead. Rowling spent just the first 5 years writing Harry Potter, just setting up rules on what the characters could and couldn't do. In the Amontentia potion, Hermione recognises a few smells. The third one is Ron's hair. The final book almost had 2 different titles. One was Harry Potter and the Elder Wand, and the other was Harry Potter and the Peveril Quest. The piece of food in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was all real food, but it wasn't really enjoyed since it spoiled quickly because of hot lights on set. The threat of leaks and spoilers was real with the release of the last books. The publisher Bloomsbury gave them code names, which included Edinburgh Bookmakers and the Life and Times of Clara Rose Lovett, an epic novel covering many generations. In the second film, there's a scene where Harry explains he's missing a sock. For that scene, Radcliffe had to shave one leg. Alan Rickman knew things about Harry Potter most people did not. Rowling gave him spoilers about the story to help him really land the role of Snape. Both Radcliffe and Grint admitting to having crushes on Watson when filming the early movies. And fact 30. Tom Felton almost didn't play Draco. He auditioned for the roles of both Harry and Ron. Harry's eyes are described as green in the books, but Radcliffe's eyes are not green. They did try green contacts, but Radcliffe had a bad reaction to them and couldn't use them. Shirley Henderson, who played 14-year-old Moaning Myrtle, was 36 when filming began. Rowling said that the Mirror of Erised is her favourite chapter in the first book and one of her favourite chapters in the whole series. The name Voldemort comes from French words that mean flight of death. Fred and George Weasley, perpetual jokers, were born on April Fool's Day. Rowling has said that if she were a teacher at Hogwarts, she would teach charms, and if she had a job, she would write spell books. One of the directors, Alfonso Cuarón, told Watson, Radcliffe and Grint to write essays about their characters. Radcliffe wrote a page, Watson wrote 10, and Grint didn't write anything just like their characters. The Harry Potter books were the first children's books on the New York bestseller list since Charlotte's Web in 1952. The actors were not allowed to play contact sports because they weren't safe, so they only played golf during their free time. Colours have deeper meaning in the Harry Potter world. Red represents goodness, which is why Gryffindor's robes are red and the Weasleys have red hair. Green associated with negative events, like when Harry saw a flash of green when his parents died. And obviously the killing curse is green as well. Rowling said that when she took a sorting hat quiz, it sorted her into Hufflepuff. Makeup artists applied Harry's scar over 2,000 times, and Radcliffe went through 160 pairs of glasses. Rowling famously revealed that Dumbledore was gay after the series was completed. Rowling has said that she regrets pairing Ron and Hermione together, saying she did it because of wish fulfillment and not because of the plot. To be honest, I think it's good. I think it was better it was them two rather than Harry and Hermione, in my opinion. The killing curse, Avada Kedavra, comes from an Aramaic phrase, Avada Kedavra, which means to disappear like this word. The character of Moaning Myrtle was inspired by all of the crying girls Rowling had run into in bathrooms over the years, especially at clubs. Hermione's Patronus is an otter, and Ron's is a Jack Russell Terrier, which is known for chasing otters. Ernie and Stanley, the driver and conductor of the night bus, are named after Rowling's grandfathers. Two American actors wanted to be in the Harry Potter movies so badly they offered to do it for free, Rosie O'Donnell and Robin Williams, but Rowling said no because she wanted a cast that was only British or Irish. Radcliffe broke about 80 wands throughout filming because he kept using them as drumsticks. You just would, wouldn't you? Voldemort was 71 years old when he died in the Battle of Hogwarts. Dumbledore was 115 years old when he was killed by Snape. I've just noticed there's a few duplicate facts here, so I'm a fraud. It's gonna be like in the 90s facts about Harry Potter, so I apologise. The first time the Vanishing Cabinet is mentioned is actually in Chamber of Secrets when Peeves broke it. Arthur Weasley was supposed to die in Order of the Phoenix, but was replaced with Lupin and Tonks in Deathly Hallows. And Lupin wasn't originally meant to die, but Rowling knew she needed to bring back the story of parents dying, because leaving a child parentless is one of the most horrific things about war. From the very beginning, J.K. knew she wanted the Battle of Hogwarts to lead to Harry walking to his death in the forest with his family and have Hagrid carry him out. This is what kept Hagrid safe from dying in the books. That's kind of sad, so Hagrid's purpose was to carry Harry's dead body, believing he was dead. It's kind of sad. Hogwarts has no tuition fees. The Ministry of Magic covers all magical education. That's very good of them. Harry and Dudley would still see each other after the Battle of Hogwarts, but they would visit more out of a sense of duty and sit in silence, so that their children could see their cousins. Fred was the hardest person for Rowling to kill. George never got over Fred's death, and he was never able to produce a Patronus again. That's just sad. That's just ruined my evening, to be honest. George eventually married Angelina Johnson and named his first child after Fred. I'm not crying, you are. The only time the twins ever got injured was when they were apart. George lost an ear while en route to the safe house, and Fred died in an explosion. After the Battle of Hogwarts, Harry, Ron and Hermione all went to work for the Ministry. Harry and Ron became Aurors, and Hermione began her post-Hogwarts career at the Department of the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures. Eventually, Harry became head of the Auror Office, Hermione became Minister of Magic, and Ron left the Ministry to help George run the joke shop. Hermione is the female derivative of Hermes, a messenger god known for his sharp wit and ability to transition between worlds. Harry in Norse means war chief, and in English it means protector. Ginny Weasley became a professional Quidditch player for the Holyhead Harpies, but eventually retired to take care of her children. She then became a senior Quidditch correspondent at the Daily Prophet. Michael Jackson once approached Rowling about making a musical based on the books, but she turned it down. That would have been incredible. Rowling eventually produced a play with John Tiffany and Jack Thorne called Cursed Child, which tells the story of Harry's son, Albus Severus Potter. Cursed Child won Best New Play at the Olivier Awards and Best Play at the Tony Awards. For a long time, Rowling planned the last word in the series to be Scar, but eventually changed the last sentence to All is well. Rowling intended for Hermione to have a younger sister, but it felt too late. Expecto Patronum translates to I await a guardian in Latin. After the Battle of Hogwarts, the trio all got their own chocolate frog cards. The Tale of the Deathly Hallows was based on the Bardiner's Tale by Geoffrey Chaucer. Percy ended up as a high-ranking official under Kingsley at the Ministry of Magic. J.K. Rowling said Lily might even have grown to love Snape romantically if he had not loved dark magic so much and been drawn to such loathsome people and acts. After Snape died, he was not immediately added to the portraits in the headmaster's office, but Harry insisted he be placed next to Dumbledore. Most Black family members are named after stars or constellations. Sirius is known colloquially as the Dog Star, reflecting its prominence in its constellation Canis Major. James Sirius Potter, Harry's oldest son, stole the Marauders map from his dad's desk. Winky, the house elf, is still at Hogwarts, but never got over her addiction to butterbeer. I have no idea who Winky is, sorry. There are 700 fouls in Quidditch. Originally, Dean Thomas thought his father abandoned him, but it turns out that Dean's dad never told his family he was a wizard, and he was killed when he refused to join Voldemort. Platform 7.5 is the Orient Express. Well, it's like a Harry Potter cinematic universe. Incredible. Mahu Tokoro is the Japanese wizarding school, located on the topmost point of the volcanic island of Minami Iwajima. It has the smallest student body of the 11 major wizarding schools. The flying carpet is the main source of transportation in South Asia. A magnificent fountain in the middle of the park at Beaubutton School is said to have healing and beautifying powers and is named for Nicholas and Perenelle Flamel. Wizards have the power to correct or override mundane nature, but not magical nature. Therefore, a wizard could catch anything a muggle might catch, but he could cure all of it. He would also comfortably survive a scorpion sting that might kill a muggle, whereas he might die if bitten by a venomous tentacula. There we go. Ilvermorny is the American wizarding school located at Mount Greylock in Massachusetts. The House of Ilvermorny are Horn Serpent, Wampus, are known as Nomage in America. Luna Lovegood became a naturalist and eventually married Rolf Scamander, Newt Scamander's grandson, with whom she had twin sons, Lorcan and Lysander. Professor McGonagall was actually a gifted Quidditch player, but she experienced a nasty fall in her final year at Hogwarts that left her with a concussion and several broken ribs. Bellatrix means combative in Latin. The first Harry Potter book was published in 1998, the same year the final Battle of Hogwarts was fought. It opens at the close. Snape was the only Death Eater who could outperform the Patronus charm. Dumbledore fell in love with Gellert Grindelwald. And finally, Voldemort's boggart is his own corpse. And I'd actually put some extra ones on the end there, so we did get to 100 facts. I really hope you did enjoy this video, everybody. I hope you learned something new about Harry Potter. If you have any requests for specific topics, franchises, broad topics, anything you want 100 facts on,